Hey, Jeff. Happy
Hello, Amy.
Tuesday. Is it
Happy
raining?
Tuesday.
Is it
It
raining?
is. It's raining here. Is it raining there?
Yeah, at least it was. Now the sky's blue, but I feel like just in the snap of a moment, we went from summer to fall, and it's
Oh,
taking.
it was the switch. Mother Nature just made the switch, just like we always expect in Michigan. I'm just really concerned that it's going to be like the fake fall that we have here in Michigan,
Yeah.
and that then uh next week we're going to go back to summer. And I just I'm putting away my summer clothes, pulling out my fall clothes, and I'm like,
Probably.
is this too early? I never know if it's like not good.
I know. Welcome to Michigan. What season is it? It's Michigan. Well, so
Yeah.
thanks everybody for joining us. Definitely share this video with others. Thank you for your patience. We apologize we haven't been on here as much. We're going to go through some quick headlines, like good news items. And my good news is that I survived a wedding this weekend. I was very distracted with a family wedding, but all went well, beautiful weather. So we are
And
down.
now that final distraction is out of the
Yeah,
way, you can focus fully for the next 42 days.
42 days. Oh my gosh. That's what I was going to ask you. What's our count? So, what is it? 6 weeks from today is D Day. And for those of you that are watching and you're appreciating the information we're putting out, please tag a friend and just encourage them to engage with this content. Our goal here is to make sure we're bringing you fresh information every time, but also inspiration, perspectives, and just quick call to action. So, Jeff, let's start with some positives. You and I have some different positives that we're encouraged by. You go first.
No, I'm just really encouraged. I've been going to events all across the state still. I'm speaking at different things, and people are saying that they have they've seen our videos and they're being energized to help, and to that
Good.
they've made phone calls and they've made door knocking, and they've really just tried to spread the word just to get everybody unified and walking hand in hand together. And I've also just, I mean, seeing the graphics that our
Oh
team
my
Heather
God.
makes that going around, and it's simple graphics that are able to show and just get our way and get the message that we need about who's our statewide pathway ticket,
Yeah.
and then who are Senate candidates that are in most need, that we're getting that word out, which is what we need. That's what we're trying to do, is just
That's huge.
get the word
Well,
out. It's got 42 days.
and we are where, and Jeff and I talked about this earlier. I feel like a couple more positives is one. Some of you have seen a video that I did. Just really, I'm a homeschool alum, and I just really see the writing on the wall that there's a lot the homeschoolers should be concerned about this election. And so I did an intentional, a longer video, and then I did a couple short ones, and that is getting out there. It's so encouraging to see. I think one of the videos I saw had over 900 views on it, and we're working to like put it in different Facebook groups just to really call awareness. So that's a positive. And then a positive is also our YouTube followers are growing. So thank you to all those that have subscribed. It's just a tiny note to us that what we're doing is striking home. So we feel encouraged to that. Also, before we go too far into the session, let's also talk about President Trump is coming to Michigan on Saturday. That's huge, Jeff. I don't know about you, but I feel like that is a signal that he sees some potential for wins in Michigan. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I think it's just it shows the truth, and it goes off of what I heard from Kellyanne Conway last Friday when she
Yeah.
came and spoke with Tudor about how what these polls that show, if the poll shows Tudor is down 16 points, that we don't believe that. That's just not
Right,
what
right.
anybody is seeing on the ground, because they're releasing those polls to try to tell you to not be energized. They're trying to say,
Right.
oh, your candidate's going to lose, so you might as well just not do anything. That's what their goal is. But you can just point on, Kellyanne brought up 5 Senate races that were in 2020 that going into election day, these candidates were all down and they all won like drastic. I remember in Maine, Susan Collins was down, I think, like 8 points in the average poll
Wow.
going into election day, and she won by 9 points. That's not a close race. And there was 5 races that way, and that's just in the Senate, which is 30 races. So 5 out of 30 showed that like the polls aren't true. So it's just
Okay.
we can't believe that those, if you see that 16 point or whatever and you get depressed, that means their message is working, because they want you to be
Yeah,
depressed. They
that's
don't
a
want you to do the work. They want you to just be like, oh, I'm going to sit by it. We're stuck with Whitmer for 4 more years.
Yep.
That
They
can't be
want
your
you
mindset.
and then when you agree as well, they want you to be defeated. It's a psychological game, a lot of this. Now, granted, you're going to have candidates at times that the polls will be reflective. This candidate really doesn't have a choice. But I think what you're hitting on is that a lot of times politics is psychological. And that's where the liberals have been so brilliant in their communications, where they are aggressive with psychology games. They will tell you that the polls are such and such, or listen to this headline, or this isn't true. And that's where we all need to be critical thinkers for ourselves.
And you know how we're going to do that? We're going to do that together on Saturday when we door knock in Macomb County. That Amy and I are heading over to Macomb County, and we're meeting at 9:30 before the Trump rally, so we can all go out and knock before we get excited and go to the rally and have a great time. That's in the evening, so let's spend the morning knocking. Let's get our out for our candidates, and we are excited that we do have, for everybody that goes out knocking, when you come back for lunch, which Amy and I will be providing pizza and stuff for, that when you come back, you will be entered, as long as you went out knocking, you'll be entered into a drawing for 2 tickets for expedited entry and the tailgate that DePerno and Tudor are hosting for the rally. So as long
That's
as you
awesome.
door knock, you'll be able to be entered into that raffle and stuff. And
Yes.
we're just trying to thank you, and we're just trying to show that we're gonna make this difference.
So, will you answer 2 questions? 1, why is Macomb important? And 2, what do you say to the people who are like, I'm glad you're doing it. I can't come. I'm going to the Trump rally.
So you can come to the door knocking beforehand. Yes, there's going to be some people that line up at 8 a.m.
Okay.
That's the case.
Nature.
But there's gonna, from the rally that I was at in April, when I was collecting Secure My Vote signatures, people continued to come. And as long as you got there a couple hours before, you were able to get in and all that stuff. And we're going to be done by noon, sending you over to Warren. It's the place where we're meeting is 20 minutes away from the rally location. So you'll be able to get in line. You'll be able to get there and get ready to go and everything. It's not a hard time to be able to get into that faction.
Okay.
And what was the other question?
Oh, why is Macomb important?
Why is Macomb important? There are 3 Senate races out of the 6 that are going to determine majority. 3 of them touch Macomb County. And there's multiple state house races also that touch it. That Macomb has become one of those bastions in our state.
Yeah.
That's going to be determinative. And this is why, I mean, you continue to see President Trump keeps coming to Macomb. He came in April. His rally was in Macomb County. He's in Macomb County now. He was in Macomb County multiple times in 2020. It is it's a major place for our voters. And we have 3 top tier Senate races that touch Macomb County that we're going to go out and help this weekend.
That's awesome. Yay. So Jeff and I are excited. Part of the thing, of course, we just love connecting with people. And so many of you guys we've known online, but this will be a fun time. So even if you can only come for an hour, or if you say, hey, I can't do doors, but could I be your driver? Yes, we need drivers. We need people that can just help us. So it's a great
You can
chance.
come and stuff bags at the office for the door knockers.
Help with phone calls. If you're like, hey, I want to come hang out, but I can't do doors, come help with phone calls, and we'll still get a chance to meet you and then have lunch with you. So it'll be fun. So how do people get signed up for it, Jeff? And I guess we need people to help us push it in different groups too.
Yeah. Just start spreading the word that we're doing this, that this is going to be one of the big things that we're just trying to push, where it's literally 2 days after absentee ballots go out. So it's time to go, and it's time to make that difference. Heather has been sharing the event in our chat. So you can just RSVP there. I do ask that everybody tries to indicate that they're either maybe or going to that, or they email us at americansuniteformichigan@gmail.com specifically, so we can have an idea of how many walkbooks to create, because I would love for there to be so many people that I need to make sure I do that prior on Friday or Thursday. So we're not waiting and being hindered down by so many people that show up that didn't let us know they were coming.
Okay. Perfect. Kids can come. It's just a fun chance to even for people that love praying, use it as an opportunity to walk and pray. And as you say, Jeff, you love getting your steps in when we do this. So
Yeah, no, door knocking, you get your steps in, you're talking to people, you're having conversations,
we'll
you're
show you how to
talking
do
about,
it.
yeah,
You're
talking
not
about the things
alone.
that matter to you. And yeah, I mean, I do love getting my steps in and feeling that
That's awesome.
healthy aspect.
Well, we're excited to have you guys join us. So please definitely help us spread the word. So one of the things we want you guys to know who are watching this and sharing this is that we very much care about your feedback in the group. And so one of the questions we had asked was, what is the content that you guys would like to hear this week? And so Jeff and I were just going through some of those comments. Obviously, we can't get to all of them in one video, but one of them that popped up a couple times, and just a side note, we will come back and continue to hit on some of those. Like Jeff is going to do a video specifically on proposal 2. So you guys can have that to share around. We're going to continue to give you guys like ideas and ways to be involved. But one of the comments that really strikes a chord in my heart, and I think in Jeff's heart as well, and it surfaced a couple times, is this point. So Jeff, I'll let you weigh in on it. But it was basically from a couple different people who said, listen, I'm concerned about what's going on. I'm not even sure that I'm going to vote because I don't think it counts. I don't think it matters. Like, why should I vote? And so, Jeff, what is your message to them?
I think that mindset is exactly what they want you to do. They do not want you to vote.
The progressives,
They know
right?
the progressives, the left,
Yep.
the Whitmer supporters,
Yep.
the Biden supporters. They do not want you to vote. They want to say, they want you to believe that your vote doesn't count and doesn't matter. But every vote counts. There are so many races. There was a state house race in Lenawee County just in August that was decided by less than 20 votes. These small town, even if you think your vote's not going to matter for the top of the ticket, I can tell you it's 100% going to matter for Brian Zara and Paul Hudson, who are running for Supreme Court. It's going to matter on these proposals because not everybody's going to vote on those. So every vote that hits those is important. Your vote matters and it's going to make a difference.
Well, and I think you and I would also say we are not for one moment saying there are not problems with the election universe, right? Because one, people are involved, and anytime that people are involved, there can be errors. I believe that now you and I we are not using this group or this platform to get focused on things from 2020, but I will say this, that I believe that yes, there are election issues that have been going on for decades. But Jeff, like it almost rocks me to the core when I think of if I was one of those people that said, I'm not sure my vote counts, therefore I won't vote. But then when we get to November 9th and I wake up and I realize Brian Zara is now having to go into a recount because there is a matter of 20 vote difference, or school board candidate X lost because of 40 votes. So I think, Jeff, I mean, not to put words in your mouth, but I think we're on the same page with this, that our message to those citizens who have that concern, and we would ask you to, because there are so many people feeling this, you're not alone, that we need help encouraging other people. And the message would be this: what you feel is valid. What your concerns are legit. But we are saying, please look at it from the 40,000 foot view perspective. Even though that's what you feel, your vote matters. And you are not alone in that sensation or that grief. And so, but if we have 1,000 people that feel that, it is going to radically influence things for the bad.
And I think and it goes into another point that I saw in that chat about voting Tudor or Gretchen and all that stuff. And from the primary, where did Democrats potentially influence the primary? Potentially, that is a possibility. But I can tell you, I know of a lot of Republicans that voted for Tudor. And so Amy's right there. There is they are out there, and don't let that determine and say, I haven't seen Tudor at all. I don't think she didn't do anything in the primary. She didn't do any of this. So I don't want to even vote for her. I get frustrated by that because
Yeah, me too.
they're like, she's our nominee and she will
Right.
be 100 million times better than Gretchen Whitmer. That is clear
Yep.
and simple. If you believe that parents should be involved, if you believe that that COVID-19 lockdowns were horrific to our state and that
Yep.
people were killed and died in nursing homes because of that, Tudor Dixon is your choice for governor. There is
Mhm.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She will be better than Gretchen Whitmer. Anybody that tries to say they are the same person frustrates me because it is just false. They are she is
1000% false.
she will be a conservative and a common sense governor that actually puts our needs of the people before the
Mhm.
needs of the special interests in that
Mhm.
aspect. And it's so hard for that aspect to be there. And it's I this goes into another little small thing about I've been seeing on Telegram or on
Mm.
other social media chats that there's still some people talking about Donna Brandenburg. She's
Yeah.
going to be on the ballot as the
Okay.
US taxpayers nominee, but she's not going to get more than 30,000 votes.
Nope.
Stop giving attention to her. Stop giving her 5 trolls that comment or post on Facebook
Mhm.
or post in Telegram. It's like the same 5 people that keep posting that stuff about her, that are promoting her. They are going to be 5 of the 20,000 people that vote for her, that always vote for the taxpayers nominee. When people
Mhm.
go into the ballot box, they are going to choose either the Republican or the Democrat. And we know that Tudor Dixon is the better choice than Gretchen Whitmer. If you keep giving credence to
Mhm.
Donna's campaign by even arguing that she shouldn't be running, that's taking
Mhm.
time away from you arguing for Tudor Dixon or against Gretchen Whitmer. We need to be being positive about Tudor Dixon and negative towards Gretchen Whitmer because that is where we are right now. Don't even give credence to those that are
Mhm.
bringing conversation about Donna Brandenburg. It's
Yep.
pointless. It's not important. She's not going to get more than 20,000, 30,000 votes. It's just true. So just time to put that away.
Do you know what I am hungry to see, Jeff? And hungry might be the wrong word, but you and I have been doing this long enough that you'll know what I mean. I am hungry to see conservatives that know how to win. And I think that, and I feel like I can say this because if it hadn't been for the training that I've been through, if it hadn't been for the people that have been mentors to me, I would probably still be on this island. But I think as conservatives, at times, we look at the only viable choice is someone who is pure and perfect according to our standards. And if that person is not pure and perfect, they should not be in office. But what I hope to see are more and more conservatives that start to understand how the arena works, how to work in the arena and be effective. It's almost like playing checkers. Like if you and I were playing checkers, the way checkers works is there's two players and there's two different, I'll say, coins or game pieces. You could have a friend, Mary Jo, come in and say, well, I want to play this way. And it changes the dynamics of the game and it's no longer checkers. And I think for grassroots who are new to this process, they need to understand that your values matter, your principles matter, but you have to understand how politics and government works and how to do it to win. And you can do that without compromising your values. Maybe you can help me clarify that if I'm.
No, I think it's so true. And it literally, the only person you're going to agree with 100% of the time is when you look in the mirror and see yourself. That
Boom.
is the only
Well
person.
said.
There's no one, even your spouse, your
Right?
children, your parents, your best friend, you are going to disagree on something about.
Yep.
So putting that aside, the time in the primary is when to debate those ideas. The
Yep.
time for the general election is to say, Tudor Dixon is better than Gretchen Whitmer. Let's vote for
Period.
Tudor Dixon. Period.
And if I don't vote, Whitmer has this is what drives me batty, Jeff, is like people that will say, I'm not gonna vote, my vote doesn't count. By not voting, you are voting. So the question becomes, do you want your non-vote vote to go to Whitmer? Or do you want your vote to have a chance at helping Tudor get across the finish line? And honestly, this will be harsh to some people, but I'm going to say it in love. That if people do not vote, and if people vote for someone besides the two game pieces right now, right? I'm going to be so bold, like the checkers paradigm, it's Whitmer versus Tudor. That if people do not vote, and if they wake up on November 9th and we have Whitmer for another 4 years, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I bear the responsibility for what has happened.
And
Because,
not only that, it's what has happened in the future. Because if
yes,
Whitmer wins re-election, I can bet you she's going to be running for president either in 2024 or 2028. And
yep,
she, I mean, stands a chance to win the presidency. And then
yep,
we've just
yeah.
gifted her to the nation.
And you and I've talked about this before too. We would just challenge people that are super. I think sometimes there's another. I'm queen of analogies. It's as though there's this marathon going on right now, and we only have a limited time, and we have a limited, length of road to run. What we need grassroots to do is, like, you can be concerned about that minutia detail. It matters, but do your best to set it aside until after November 8th. So as people are getting notices on the county call to convention for their local GOP, that matters. They have to do it by law. Thank God we have leaders that are following the law, but don't let it be a distraction. You have people that say, I don't know if my vote counts. Your concerns are valid, they're merited. Make note of how you are going to explore the election process to best understand how it works. And you're going to get ready to run for township clerk, on the next go around. But do not let those important small details sidetrack you from what matters so much on November 8th. And I think the last thing I'll say on this, and then we can go on to another topic, is just that if the reality is that Whitmer could win. The reality is that the Senate Republican majority could be lost. The reality is that the House GOP majority could be lost. And what that means is if you have the executive branch that's led by the Democrat progressive and the House and the Senate that now have Democrat majorities, there is all hell being broke loose for the values of freedom, morals, conscience, virtues. I mean, they are going after the nucleus family. They're going after parental rights. They're going after everything under the sun. So that's why, like, what we're doing Saturday matters to help hold on.
We've seen it in DC. They have complete control in DC. And I can promise you, Michigan, in the Michigan Senate and the Michigan House, there are no Joe Manchins or Kirsten Cinemas to stop some of the craziness. That it will be horrific, dire, and it will be we will not recognize the state of Michigan come to a couple years after that.
A couple years. I say give us 3 months after they're all in office. We will not recognize. And yeah, so with that, Jeff, let's kind of talk about just some kind of, what do you want to tackle next? Do you feel like grassroots need to know before we wrap things up? Telegram was one thing we wanted to pitch out to people to say, hey, here's a call to action.
I just think keep sharing the stuff. Share our lives, share those graphics, get the word
amazing.
out, because there are so many of these candidates, the Supreme Court race, the proposals, the school board races. Even if somebody at the top of the ballot hits straight party Republican, that does not cover any of those races when you get to the nonpartisan section and into the proposal section. So it's so important that we are educating everybody on every person on the ballot, not just the top, but talk about Brian Zara and Paul Hudson for Supreme Court. If you're in Oakland, Macomb, or Genesee, you want Michael Warren for a Court of Appeals. He's running up against a progressive liberal that was appointed by Whitmer. So there's just these things, the proposals, you might have local proposals. I know in Oakland County, we have a transit millage that is horrific as well. And there's even local, I think there's a marijuana millage in my little township.
Oh, wow.
So it's, yeah.
It is a lot. So a couple of the things that we want to also remind everyone on is absentee ballots hit the ground this week. And so do what you can to make sure people in your circle are informed, because for all you know, the majority of the people on your street may be voting this week. And so take time to text friends, go door to door, pick up the phone and call, send out an email just to say, hey, are you aware there's election? Here are 3 of the important things that I want to make sure you're clued in on. You know, Jeff and I would say everything on the ballot counts, but definitely make sure people are aware of how to vote at the bottom of the ballot. And if they're still wavering on, should I give Whitmer another chance? Make sure to just put a pebble in their shoe, which we like to say, like ask a question to say, well, did you really enjoy 2 years of lockdown? Did your grandma suffer in the nursing home? Did your business suffer? Don't you think that she's already had a chance and it's time for us to give somebody else a chance? So just remember the absentee ballot piece.
I saw somebody mention this today, and I thought it was hilarious. We had this trial period, and I kind of want to return this. I decided I don't like what we got. I want something different. So
I love that. I love that. I love that. So one of the things we could use help with is when you guys are all in. Jeff and I are doing this as volunteers. This is volunteers. We are not an organization. And so while Jeff and I would love to have a team of 100 that are populating Truth Social and Locals and Telegram, we can't. We simply can't. We have a handful of probably 5 or 6 of us, I think, that are monitoring, that are engaging, that are working on stuff. So the ways that you can help us is when you're in Telegram, pop up just to make sure if you see people going off the rails, use some of the content that we're generating to say, what about this? Or here, let me push back on you with this information. If you guys have a following on Truth Social, please take this info and throw it up there, just anywhere and everywhere. We've also seen comments from people that they're like, where's Tudor Dixon? Well, you know what? I am proud to have voted for her. Out of all the candidates, like she's one that a lot of us felt like she has the best chance. We're not saying she's perfect. She's a human, but I'm proud that I voted for her. We would love it in an ideal world that she had a budget of $1 gajillion and could be everywhere, every spot, everywhere you turn. But that's not the reality in this moment in time. So instead of you and me complaining about why we don't see her commercials or why we don't see billboards, how about we be Americans and put our big kid pants on and say, you know what? I'm not seeing where she's showing up. So I'm going to put the message out there. I'm going to go door to door. I'm going to put a call into their local radio. But look for her, get on her email list, look for her on Twitter. She is doing events. She is showing up places. She's holding press conferences. God bless her. She is doing what she can. But really the success.
And you're probably not going to see her at your GOP events, because that's the people that show up to the GOP events. We should expect that every single one of them is going to vote for Tudor and vote for our ticket, that she needs to be out to the independents, those people. Yeah. And I've been seeing her at different events and different things that on Facebook, on social media, she posts photos and posts all this stuff of her at events. So she is getting out there. And I am excited that I've been seeing recently, there was the PAC that supported her released today a new commercial that is getting out there. And so I am expecting that to go up on TV shortly. The RGA, the Republican Governors Association, I have been told, I've seen today that they've booked about $3.5 million in TV ads for October. If you haven't seen it yet, the MIGOP just released a great ad about an hour ago that talks about Gretchen Whitmer. So share that, get that out there.
Good.
It's all starting to come and all that stuff. It's happening, but it is time. As Amy mentioned, absentee ballots hit this week. This is your time. If you haven't talked to your friends, your neighbors, those at church, those that are your coworkers, all of those people saying, because you don't know who's going to vote absentee or not. Half of Michigan's population will vote absentee.
It's just amazing.
And when you are in a suburban community, if you are in Oakland, Macomb, Wayne, Kent, Ingham, these like more suburban communities, it's going to be up towards 70%. So you should be talking to everybody now, because it is so important that we say it right now. Like, because they could vote on Saturday. They could vote on Sunday. It's not, November 8th is 42 days away, but voting in Michigan
starts now.
starts this week.
Yep. So put it on the top of your list. And it's like you say, Jeff, I mean, we hear like all these news headlines, oh, the red wave's coming, red wave's coming. I almost wish that we could just flush that statement down the toilet. We hope that that's the case. But as you say so well, that the red wave is not just coming. We have to make it happen. And I would just say that the success of this election is not up to the Republican Party. It's not up to Tudor Dixon. It's not up to the National Governors Association. It's not up to anybody else but you and me. We are Americans. We know how to deal with challenges. We know how to forge the great frontiers. We know how to find solutions around problems. So consider this responsibility on any red wave election that we could have in Michigan as being on your shoulders. It is on you and me. So get creative, do what you can to get the word out. And with that, thank you for joining us. Jeff, any parting words other than come join us on Saturday?
We will see you on Saturday. Take this first step. We'll take you door to door. We'll help you if you're concerned. We're there. We're going to make a difference before the rally, and then everybody can go celebrate. But
that's awesome.
To be able to celebrate, you need to put some work in. You shouldn't be able to just go and celebrate without putting that work in beforehand. So let's go get the work done.
That's a great ending message. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.